Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, Strong Style, Cinephile, one half of the reigning defending MPX Tag Team Champions. Now, Batwoman Rebirth. Let's geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now, it seemed like there was a lot going on in this episode. Of course, we learned from the promo last week that this was going to be an appearance from Diggle, and from what I read about Diggle's appearances in the Arrowverse shows, apparently this is after the green moment from the Arrow series finale, and apparently Diggle is rejecting the call from that unseen object that we all kind of guess is the Green Lantern ring. Finally capping off years upon years of teasing in that regard. But apparently he is rejecting that call, which is why he's kind of dealing with some of the issues he's dealing with. He ends up in Gotham City because he's there to see world-class neurologists to kind of see what's going on there. He ends up running into Luke at a poker game because Luke is, I don't want to say spiraling, but he's a bit off. And this is what I hoped that they would follow up with. That we know that Luke said it in this episode, that he chose his dad. He did not want to, in his trip to purgatory in the last episode where he had a chance to be with his dad, in which case he would not return to the living, he chose to stay with his dad, but they used the life-saving plant and brought him back. So Luke is dealing with that mentally, where he's here and he did not want to be here. So he ends up not being there when Ryan needs him, when a dude gets stabbed early on in the episode. And then we see him at this poker game and he's going after Douche Cop, who was apparently paroled or out on bail for whatever reasons. Gotham City's corrupt, police are corrupt, etc., etc. At that game, Luke takes all Tabarov's money, then he gets physical with him. And in alley, doesn't exactly work well for Luke until Diggle shows up and saves him, and then they have like a little heart-to-heart where Diggle says he kind of understands the anger that Luke has, the questions and stuff that he has, and he says he's going to need that anger in the fight for justice, that sort of thing. Of course, we know Luke is going to end up in a Batwing costume in the series finale, or season finale. Don't exactly know the circumstances of it yet. Don't even really have an idea of the circumstances yet, but we'll see how it plays out. But I do, like I said, like the fact that they continued that story with Luke and continued down that path where he did not choose to remain here amongst the living. And I don't think that, even though he had that heart-to-heart with Diggle, and a bit of a moment with Ryan towards the end of the episode, I hope that they don't just, that's the end of it. I think he should still be dealing with just being off a little bit, just maybe being a little bit reckless and just not caring about himself physically, because he's like, hey, if I die, I'll see my dad. So I hope they continue that. Elsewhere, you had Jacob Kane and Alice working to get through to Kate, who's Circe. They kidnap her and they try to jog her memory with objects and memories and stuff like that. And it kind of starts to work, but then we get into this thing where Circe and Kate are mentally having it out with each other for supremacy. So that continued through the episode on to the end where Circe actually escapes, or not Circe, Kate escapes from Sophie and then runs back to Black Mask, kind of wondering who she is. And then Sophia, who's come back, believes that Roman should tell her that she's Kate and not Circe. So I'm kind of wondering to what end is that going to do? Because if you tell her she's not who she really is, is he thinking that maybe she'll stay with Roman on his side because her family is so screwed up? Serial killer, sister, dad, abandoned the search for serial killer sister and whatever other issues she might have. So are they banking on the fact she'll stay on Roman's side? I'm kind of wondering if that's kind of how she thinks it'll go. Sophia was also back for Alice. Wanted revenge for Alice burning her plant field and kind of taking her island away from her. At one point in the episode, Sophia has Alice in her hands and she intends to kill her, but Ryan shows up with the plant to trade it for Alice's life. Sophia kind of makes light of that, the fact that she's, trading the plant for, which is a connection to Ryan's mom, the last tangible connection to Ryan's mom, for this serial killer and for a person that she doesn't know. So Ryan says she knows what Kate stood for, et cetera, et cetera. what she meant to people, yada, yada, yada. So she's being the bigger person. She's being the hero and making that sacrifice for the greater good to help restore Kate. And then, of course, Sophia just wanted to have the last laugh, the last leg up on Alice, sends Tatiana to go kill Ocean, leaving Alice heartbroken. So remains to be seen if Alice again strikes back at Sophia. That was basically the gist of things. I mean, you had a lot of people, there was a lot to react to for the characters in dealing with the fact that, yes, Kate is alive. Kate doesn't know who she is. She's having issues in that regard, but she's alive. And it kind of begs the question of what's going to change for Team Batwoman once Kate is fully in control of her faculties. You know, Jacob Kane got arrested for harboring, helping out Alice, and it comes to light in the public that Alice is Beth Kane, which is his daughter, which puts a whole lot of, raises a whole lot of questions that sees Jacob Kane arrested, tossed in jail, first in Gotham, but he gets transferred to Metropolis, where he'll be safer. Apparently, Gotham City police are under the thumb of Sionis, or at least a number of them, which, shocker, Gotham City police, corrupt. No, say it isn't so. So it remains to be seen kind of how things shape out with that. And I'm kind of wondering if was kind of making like a farewell type of call to Mary and telling Mary to kind of help restore Kate, possibly get through to Alice and bring her back from the brink. But I'm wondering if Jacob is just going to remain in jail. At first, I kind of wondered whether or not, like, the three of them would just kind of go off to an island somewhere and just catch up, whatever. Well, maybe Jacob Kane remains in jail for his crimes, and then the sisters go off. They still leave Gotham City and go off. A lot of people on some message boards I've seen and stuff like that want Kate to remain, and either there be two women in Gotham, which would be stupid, or Ryan to take the demotion and become a sidekick and take up another identity altogether. I don't think that's the way to go. I just think they should just move towards a truly Kate-free season 3. That's what we need to move up to. So once they get Kate back, just take Kate and Alice and they can go catch up. It's even better because Kate, Alice is all heartbroken because her dude got killed or whatever. Kate's trying to pick up the pieces of her shattered mind and life and stuff, so they can go off and do their thing. Jacob can remain in prison, and that can be that. It remains to be seen if that happens. That was about the gist of the episode. I mean, we don't have any there's no, big bad on the horizon. I mean, Black Mask, I guess, is the big bad for the season, but there's no grand scheme of his, apparently, unless in true Arrowverse fashion, he will have a grand scheme that we will find out in the last 2 episodes. Suddenly in that, the episode before the season finale, he'll have all this stuff in place, or suddenly there will be some trucks that are coming in that have some poison stuff, or just whatever. He'll have a machine or something. It's just, that's the thing about some of these Arrowverse seasons where they meander around for the bulk of the season, and then just the last 2 or 3 episodes, suddenly there's a master plan from the overarching villain that gets put into place. Remains to be seen if that happens with. So like I said, there's a lot to this episode. Some of it, most of it was good. I mean, you had people, the secret's finally out in the open. We don't have to carry that crap out for another handful of episodes. Everybody knows Kate is back, Kate's alive, Kate's off, Luke is off. Outside of that, remains to be seen kind of where we go from here, because I truly don't know the direction, because like I said, there's no overarching plan that Black Mask has other than his hatred for, Jacob Kane, which Kane's in prison. So, okay, what are you going to do now? Remains to be seen, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, where they're going. So hopefully it's a good place. Hopefully, crossing fingers and toes and everything else. But anyway, those are some of my thoughts on the episode, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. Talk to me there. Talk to me here. This weekend, MPX, it's a Juneteenth special event. It's going to be great. You should check it out if you're in the area, or check it out online. In the meantime, let us geek.